Okay guys, if you want to make a sky replacement video, then this tutorial is for you.
Okay, so let's get going. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my footage and I'm going to realize, okay, right here when I'm throwing it, basically right there, this is when I want my action to happen and the sky to replace. So I'm going to do Shift Command D to cut it, and then I'm going to hit Command D to duplicate the layer. So now that I've done that, I'm going to go into my effects and preset, go ahead and do color key. I'm going to drag it on the top layer, grab my eyedropper tool. I'm also going to turn off the second layer so that I can see this as I expand the tolerance. So we get to about right there without really taking any of the, about right there. Then I'm going to go ahead and get the pen tool and I'm going to mask this. Kind of zoom in here a little closer. You don't have to be exact because we're going to feather it and it really isn't going to matter as much. But just getting close will work. All right, I'll bring that up just a little bit. Okay, go ahead and zoom out. And there we go. Got my mask on. But what it's done is it needs to be inverted. So I'm going to hit MM. Go ahead and hit invert. And now I have my mask on this layer done. So from here, go to there. So now that I have that, I'm going to feather the mask a little bit. That looks pretty good. All right, now that we have our background gone and everything, now we're going to go ahead and put in a background, and I got this stuff off of Rocket Stock. You can actually download a free pack. I'll send the link in the description below. But that looks pretty cool, and I'm just going to rotate this just a little bit, and then I'm also going to scale it down just a little bit. And I want to make sure that obviously it fits within my background, but that looks pretty cool. So from there, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to toss it, and it goes to that. Now, you can add multiple things to this, multiple layers to this. So if I wanted to put that in there as well, maybe that'll be kind of a cool look. Just make sure you change your mode to screen. And there you go. So now we have two different layers that kind of have two different movements, which kind of make it look cool. Maybe we want to add one more. There's like a swirly one. Let's put that in there as well. Go ahead and change the mode, the blending mode, to screen. All right, that's cool. And that is how you replace the sky. Everything's looking good. Let's go ahead and do some color correction. So part of the color correction, I'm just going to use the color correction. And so I'm going to type in Loom Tricolor. Go ahead and drag that onto this layer here. We're going to do some basic correction. The main thing I want to do is adjust the exposure and the contrast, maybe kind of flatten it out a little bit so I can see myself a little bit better. I'm going to add some shadows to it, get rid of the white, and then the blacks will kind of adjust how we get that. Looks pretty good. Perfect. So now that we have that, now let's just kind of mess with the temperature a little bit. So I'm going to drop the temperature down like it's at night. And then saturation, maybe let's drop this. Well, I want to keep the saturation kind of high. Exposure, let's kind of mess with that. That's looking more and more like nighttime. So that looks pretty good. So if you want to just copy that, you can, but essentially that's the color I'm going to go with. Now I have these, though, that need to be color corrected as well, because now it's green and then blue. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing here, where I just kind of mess with the color a little bit and the tint. And I'm going to do the same thing with the other layer. I'm going to go ahead and temperature, kind of drop it. That. A little bit more saturation. And then this one, which is not a screen, I'm going to turn these two off just so you can see. And the correction on that, let's make that more blue. Super saturated. Let's bring the exposure up on this one and the contrast up as well. Maybe drop the highlights just a little bit. Okay, now we'll go ahead and turn those back on. And now we have kind of a galaxy looking clip. So we'll go ahead and play it through so you can see it. There we go. Now, obviously, there's some other things that we need to do on this because you can hear the lawnmower going and all of that. So I'm going to go ahead and take both clips. This is the audio here. I'm going to drop it to -192. Go up here to this clip. Go to the audio. Drop it to -192. And now, when we play it, we don't have any sound. There's one more. I just heard it. It's got to be this one. So let's go ahead and turn the audio off on that one as well. Now let's watch it again. There we go. That looks pretty good. Okay, so that is how you change the sky. Now, if you want to add a little movement and shake to this, it's pretty easy to do actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this file and I'm going to highlight all of the layers and I'm going to layer and I'm going to pre-compose the layer and I'm going to call this one Nebula Joe. Final. No, not final. Edit. You can name it whatever you want. So now I have that in there. I'm going to go back to my Joe original and you have Nebula Joe edit. So here is the clip. Walk through. I'm walking. And chuck it. And there we go. Now it's totally different color, all of that stuff. But what we want to do is we want to add a little bit of movement and shake to that. So there's a couple different ways that you can do it. But because we pre-composed the whole thing, I'm going to have kind of some shake about right there. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and hit position, which is P, and then rotation. And I'm going to do scale as well. And I'm going to go ahead and hit the stopwatch on all of those. And then I'm going to hit page down on my keyboard 2 times. And then I'm going to move this over. I'm going to scale it up. And then I'm going to hit page down 2 more times. And then I'm going to do over here. And then 2 times. And go here, and then 1 time, and go back to the original size, or close to it. Maybe I'll make it just a little bigger. So now, with just those few things, it's going to look like a camera shake. So here we go. And that's how you replace the sky.
Thanks for watching the video and remember to subscribe for more videos.